Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to review air purifier Levoit or Levoit, whatever is the best way to pronounce it. It's a pretty good air purifier, very compact. Having an air purifier is always a good thing, especially now if you're on the West Coast with all the fires and everything, you know how much the smoke and the bad air quality outside. So let's just dive into it and go through the product itself. Okay, here we have the purifier. Here's the box. I'm going to be reviewing the Model LV-PUR131S. This is an H13 level of purification. It has a carbon filter and a HEPA filter on the second layer. It has an app, so it's Wi-Fi connected. It's a smart model. You can connect it through Alexa or Google Assistant if you need it through your Wi-Fi connection. So here we have the model. It's actually pretty compact. It's 14.5 inches, around 14.5 inches in width, 18.5 inches in height. Actually is 18 inches, but from the bottom of the table it has another half an inch, and is 7 inches in thickness and depth. So this model's primarily comes in a white color. I haven't seen it in black. There are other Levoit models that they come in different colors, black or white. This particular model I only seen the white one. It does come with several options, obviously on and off. This is touch screen. There is a film on the top that eventually will remove the display. They change on and off all the display lights. The sleep mode, essentially it goes on the auto sensor, automatic sensor, but it uses a lower fan speed just to keep it quiet. The automatic is just uses a full kind of a speed from the fan. The only difference is if it uses the quality of the air in base of the sensor. If it drops from the optimal cleanest air quality, the fan goes on. The speed is just 3 modes, 1, 2, and 3, and the timer it has up to 12 hours. So from 1 to 12 you can set it off, set it on for the amount of hours you want, and then eventually it will turn itself off. Just a quick note, the sensor is on the side. It uses basically the air quality comes through there. If you want to clean it, you just open that, and the sensor is essentially over there. Is that little square over there? It's on the app, and I don't want to touch it, but you can use a Q-tip to clean it. It kind of explains that on the instructions. Actually, here we have a picture. Perfect. So it's on the top in there. It's always good to have this little door handy. Don't lose that. So the model itself is very basic, it's very light, not too heavy. As you can see at the back, this is the part, this is the fan, very simple, half an opening. These are the 2 filters that it comes with it. It has the carbon one, and it uses the HEPA one. The HEPA one, it has it has a film on the front, which is the first layer of filtration. It says that it has 3 because it counts that as 1, and then it counts the regular filter that you almost will see any other place as a second layer, and then the third one is the carbon. So the first layer is kind of a very thin film. As you can see, it kind of moves, and that one retains all the big pieces like hairs or any other kind of sticks that it could somehow, maybe even a leaf, that it could be sucked into the system, and it will grab that. So, and the second layer is the filtration itself, the HEPA filtration itself, that you can see. You usually find that in a regular air conditioning system at your house. The carbon one, and hopefully you can hear that, that's basically all the little pieces of carbon you can see in there. And this one is mostly for anything that is odors or smoke or any sort of smells. The carbon will absorb that. This is actually the first filter that goes in the system. As you can see, I mean, it's not airtight, but it's really close, and it's very soft on the edges, so it helps with the keeping it like closed and sealed to some degree. And then the second one goes in perfectly fine. It has like a little bit of like material on the outside around the corners that it helps to retain and give a little bit, like I was saying, that seal effect. It's not completely hermetic, but it gives that seal effect. And then the last one is just like to contain the whole system, and that's it. So essentially that's how the air is like sucked into the process, into the machine. You can see over there, and you can see through. And one thing that I noticed with other ones, other purifier I have, it's like, since there is this a little bit of elevation here, it helps the sometimes the hairs, for example, the pet hair, it doesn't get sucked right away in here like other ones that are closer to the floor, and then it kind of sucks it in. The model, it has 3 colors, and that's where the sensor registers. It has 3 colors that it uses: red, yellow, green, and very good. And I'll show you when I turn on. It just gives you the colors straight in the screen, and it's pretty straightforward how to explain that. So now you can see I just plug it in, and the power is on. It's red, and it has a film that you can remove that I haven't yet, and it will be a little bit clear, and the lights will be much stronger than what you see right now. So to start with, the front part controls, you have, and everything is just touch. You have the power, and you can see it's just very easy. And right now it just came up on the sleeping. That's the last mode I left it. As you can see, that's the light indicator. Like I was saying, the blue is very good, and you'll see once I show the app functionality, you'll see the app, it actually shows the colors too, and it has a few more options than this, but you can do everything from here if you don't want to use the app. As I was saying, that means very good. If it goes to green, it's good. Then it's yellow, and red obviously is very bad. So the display option is just essentially turns all the lights off if you don't like that, especially during the night. See, it keeps functioning, still running right now. It just turns everything, the display off. The sleeping and auto modes are like very similar. The auto mode essentially, and that's what it is right now, it uses the sensor, and anytime that the air quality goes down from the optimal level, which is the blue, into the green, the fan, it actually turns off. It turns on a little harder. So right now there is a little bit going, it's kind of almost like a breeze, and then it goes to pretty much speed 1, something like that. And then when it goes to yellow, it goes 1 speed harder, and then when it goes red, boom, it goes to the hardest it can go. That's essentially what the auto means. The sleep mode, it is similar to the auto. Obviously it's for night, and it works the same way that the auto, but it uses the fan at a lower speed. So it's intending to just keep it quiet a little bit, and you'll see the differences of the speed, noise, decibels when I do the decibel test. It's kind of hard to do on the sleep, because the sleep, as long as it doesn't change the colors, or the auto doesn't change the colors, it won't change the speed. But these two are very similar. Obviously this one is for night, this one is for any other time, and the difference is that the fan is a little bit lower going through the speed once the air quality changes. The speed is just what it is. Speed number 1, it just give you a little bit fan over there. Maybe you can hear it right now. 2 and 3. I'll go back to the auto, and the auto again is like, because it's optimal, it will lower the speed and just leave this kind of like little breeze. The timer, it is what it is. It has 1 to 12 hours, and from there it will count down, and once it counts down from the hours that you set, it will turn itself off. So there you have kind of like the hours, 1, 2, 3, And obviously if you miss your time, you had to cycle through all the 12 hours again. So that, be careful with that if you don't want to be circling through the 12 hours all the time. So that is the manual operation using the keypad that you have in front of it. Now I'm going to show you very quickly the app that you can download, and it's called My VSync, VE-Sync. And once you get the purifier, there is the user manual, and over there I give you all the explanation, all the chances to kind of like know which app to download, and even has like a little barcode that you can scan and checks you directly there. So once you hit that, it will give you the menu, and as you can see there, you can have devices, and you can add any new devices, and you can group them. You can group, for example, a few of these ones inside the house, and then if you want to turn them all on, you just go to the group and you will have them grouping here. You just can add them from the ones that you already added, and you will create a group that way, if that's something that interests you. For example, right now I just have one for the garage. The other one, it doesn't have a name, it's inside the house, and you can see it's turned off. So if you see right now the light blue, and if I hit that, it turns it off. That's how the Wi-Fi and the app works. Now you can use this app as long as you have, once it's connected to Wi-Fi, the purifier, as long as you have a connection on your phone, either a mobile connection or an internet connection, or Wi-Fi in a Starbucks, you can use your mobile phone and the app to control the purifier remotely. So for example, it's a very bad day, or there is a lot of pollen going on, and you know that allergies, you just want to get into the house and make sure that everything is fine. You can turn it on remotely like that. You get the garage, and then you click in the option for the purifier you're looking at, and as I was telling you, it says very good, and it's blue or light blue, and then if depending how it is, it will tell you if it's green, yellow, or red. And remotely you can decide what you want to do. If you want to turn it like immediately to the higher fan, regardless it's no auto, you just want to just go highest point, and there it goes. You have the same with the low, the medium, you have the same for the auto, the sleep that I was talking before. It also gives you the option for the filter live. I think it goes literally to 99% the moment, the first hour you start using it, since it's considering it that is used. Just to give you a reference, obviously there are not really sensors on the filters, so it's more like a calculation. I'm guessing that the moment you just turn it on the first time, it's checking that like from a moment. It's kind of like the filter from the fridge. You know, every 6 months it kind of had to replace it. Doesn't matter how often you use it, every 6 months. So it's really up to you. It depends on how much you have used it, and you know how much you want to use it. From there on, that maybe sometimes you reset the fridge filter for another 6 months. I think we all do that at some degree, at some point. So this is sort of the same. It gives you the 99%. The good thing is from here you can like click over there, and it checks you where like you can order filter replacement. And the filter replacement option is literally checks you to Amazon. So if I click it, as you can see, check me to the Amazon option, and there it is, $29.99. So the filter is $29.99 going through the app. I have looked around myself, and I found another option where I was. The set is obviously the carbon and the HEPA filters, and that's $29.99. I found 2 sets of these for $56.99 from another supplier, also with Prime. So once you're on Amazon, you can just shop around like any other time. There are many other options, not only this one, but if not, you can order straight from the app. So once you do that, you just kind of like change it, then replacing the filter, and it kind of give you the instructions kind of how to reset the light, because it will give you an indicator that the filters need to be replaced. Now for the display, it's the same thing. If you hit that display, like I was telling you, we'll turn it off, like it just did. I turn it back on. It has a good thing with the other one it doesn't have is sort of like the schedule option. And it gives you a little options there. You can do it once, weekly, what mode you want, auto, or just a particular fan, the sleep. And then if you want the display on and off, obviously, if you want to turn it during the night, you just can do it like weekly. And then you just can put a night, and then you want the display off. So it has that option that the other one doesn't really have, in the sense of the options on the purifier itself. It doesn't have that. And obviously, like we were talking before, it has the timer there, and you just can pick which timer you want, 12 hours, and it will just do it from there. So in a basic, that's how the app works. It's really easy. One thing to let you know, when you connect it to Wi-Fi, it could be a little tricky. It says that you have to go to your Wi-Fi connections, and it's going to be there an option for a Wi-Fi signal that it comes from the purifier. You click on that, it connects, then you have to go back into the app and tell it that you connected, and it continues the connection from there. And one thing that I did because I had two, as you notice, the two times that I connected it, I got the same error. Once you do that, you connected the Wi-Fi, you go back to the app, you tell it that you connected, and it gives you an error. But essentially, you had to go back to your Wi-Fi connections, and then at that point, it's asking you to connect to your home network. And once you put your password and it connects to your home network, you can go back to the app and it will be connected, because that's essentially what is missing. It's trying to connect to the Wi-Fi so your phone can remotely, through the Wi-Fi, connect to this. That's why you can do it like even when you're on the park or in the Starbucks. As long as you're like, you have the app and a mobile connection, you're good to go. And that's why it needs the Wi-Fi. But that's the only kind of little tricky thing that I found, that you kind of had to go back and forward with that. So for the most part, the only other thing that I would just comment about the unit is that, first of all, it recommends to put it like around 6-8 inches from any wall. So right now I think I have it like at 12 inches from this wall, and the only reason I did that and I put it on a stool is because it is in the garage next to my exercise equipment, and the garage is just full of leaves, the dog's hair, and many other things. So I just wanted like to avoid like the immediate debris that is on the floor, and I put an elevation. But if you put it inside the house, it recommends 6-8 inches. I would recommend the same, or even like 10 or 12. The more space it has, the better it works. The other thing is, like, it does say on Amazon where I purchased it, the value is $189.99. So actually for a HEPA purifier H13 is right now one of the highest levels. 12 are kind of like, even when it says HEPA, not all of them are H13, some of them are just H12, and the difference usually is the carbon and some other layers that you can find in the filters. But it does say that this unit is for large rooms, so it depends how you see that large room. For example, I have one of these ones in the living room, and I have another brand on the living room that is a little bit bigger. Not too much, but it's definitely bigger and it can pull more air. And I noticed that there is a difference between how one extracts air from the other one. So if you are around, I don't know, 300 square feet for a room, I think that would be adequate. That would be some sort of like large room in some degree. It will clean it. For example, the other unit I have, the manufacturer says that it can recycle an air in a room of that size maybe 5 times an hour. So this one, I don't know if it does 5 times an hour. It doesn't really say that. It does eventually clean it very quickly. But it's a little smaller unit. So when it says large room, I would be just be cautious and don't go anything like a crazy room, maybe like a big living room of 700 square feet or something like that. I think that probably it would eventually clean it, but it would take longer. And I mean, as long as you are fine with that, once it cleans up and purifies the air in a room, it's very easy for the unit to maintain it. I have turned on this one inside the house for when it was really bad here on the West Coast for maybe a week altogether, like without stopping even at night, and it maintained it all the time without any issues. Now, how sensitive is the sensor? I would say it's fairly sensitive. Many times we cook something like eggs or anything on the stove, and it came out, the light came out right away after like a little bit of smoke. Even with the extractor in the kitchen, the sensor, it detected it like right away, and it went into like red, and it cleaned up, and it didn't take that long. So it's very sensitive. Even a few times when you put it like close to a section of the house where we have the sliding doors to the backyard, and the dog has a little dog door there. Every time that it came in and out on really bad days, when the air was really like toxic, even just that in and out, it triggered the sensor for a few minutes, maybe just 1, 2, or 3 minutes. It wasn't that much. It just detected that, it triggered it, and then boom, it went away. So I think it's really sensitive. Like I showed before, in the user manual says, probably it's a good idea to clean it every so many months, especially in where condition is. Probably in the garage here, I would need to do it like maybe over, I don't know, 3-4 months, depending how well it detects things. If it start like triggering red all the time, I think it probably needs to clean it. It's up to each person. So that's an overall look of this unit, this purifier, the Levoit. I found like it's very good. I actually have not had any issues with the 2 units I have. I have the other one for 2 months, and I think I've been running consistently when you put all tied together, maybe like 5 weeks, and it has not had any issues whatsoever. I had this one probably like just for a few days, and so far it's so good. And I bought another one for like a friend. So it has turned out a very good unit, and I think for the price, and that was the main thing, that $189.99 with the filters and everything, and the app option. I like that it's a smart unit. That is very good. Next we'll do the decibel test. So last but not least, the noise test or decibel levels test. Right now it's an automatic option, which is a very light air moving. It's not really like a fan speed, and that is at around 40, and that's inside the garage, which it has a few other noises, so have that in consideration. Let's try to put speed number 1. Maybe you can hear that a little bit. Around 45, 46. And the last speed. So that's the highest speed that we have. For the most part, it is quiet. It's quieter than the other one that I mentioned before, the Honeywell that I have. Obviously, it's a smaller device, so probably that helps too. But this is the hardest it's probably going to get, even if you put it on the automatic. When it gets, the air gets bad, or really, between the bad and the really bad, the orange or yellow and red option colors, it turns pretty much at this speed. When it's in the green, it turns around, it feels the same at this speed, but it's a tiny bit lower. It actually changes the speed of the fan in base of the color. Once you get back to blue, in the automatic option, it kind of goes down again to that lower level. As you can see, the moment I put it on the sleep mode, it kind of like drops it almost immediately. I mean, it's still in blue, so the sleep mode it will be in blue, but pretty close to the one of automatic when it's on the sort of a sleeping mode. There is a little bit of air moving, but not much. The only times I found a comparison is when it jumps to the 1, 2, or 3 third speed. In the sleeping mode, it's just a little bit lower speed and noise for that consequence than the automatic. To be honest, yeah, the speed is kind of like, it's sort of like the automatic, but it just uses lower speeds to clean the air in base of the sensor color levels. And that goes for the decibel levels test.